Hello everyone. This video will go over chapter 8 handout on over personal finance, and these are the guided lecture notes. So this will be my lecture notes that you can use it to refer to after lecture or before lecture. So make sure you write your name on in the cover page in case you misplaced it or leave it in the classroom. For this chapter, I recommend that you will be using this formula, so make sure that you are clear on how to use your chapter 8 formulas. Then we're going to start with a review on rounding numbers. This chart is a place value chart from billions to thousands blank, and it's very helpful when you're asked to round. So I will demonstrate how to use it. So in this first example, it says round to the nearest 10. So the nearest 10 is right here, round to the tens. So in here it says it will be 24. It's part A, 24. So if you're going to round to the nearest tens, that means that you're going to look at this 2 and at the number that follows. So if the number that follows, it is 5 or more, this 24 goes to 30. If the number that follows, the number that is in the tens place, is less than 5, you will go down to 20. So when it says round to the nearest tenth, this 24 rounds, and this is the symbol for approximately, rounds to 20. Okay, so let's look at the next one, 125. So 125, the number that is in the hundreds value is the 1. The 1 is followed by a 2. So you were supposed to say, oh, do I go to 200 or do I go to 100? Oh, I'm sorry, this is to the nearest tenth, I apologize. So we're going to look at the 2. So 125, you look at the number in the tenth place is 2. The number that follows is a 5. So since the number that follows is a 5, when you look at the 2 followed by a 5, that's 25, it goes up to 30. So the approximate, the rounding of this will be 130. So we'll look at the next one. The next one is 2000, the comma is already here, there, 795. So again, we cannot lose track of what they're asking us to find. Round to the nearest tenth. So the digit that is to the nearest tenth is the 9. So the 9 is followed by a 5. So if it was just 95, it goes to 100. But then you have a number before, the 7. So 795, we go to the next number. So this is going to become 2800 because this 95 goes up to 100. So the 1 is added to the 7, so it becomes 2800. So this one you might have to rewind the tape. This one is always tricky. Okay, but the more practice you do, you will gain more confidence in this topic. So the next one, round to the nearest 100. So 245. So 245. So the number, the digit that is in the hundreds is a 2. The 2 is followed by a 4. So therefore, I don't go up. Instead of going to 250, you will go down to, instead of going to 300, you're going to go down to 200s. Okay? So the 2 stays the same and the other numbers become 0. That's another way of looking at this one. Okay, so let's do the next one. I recommend using a pencil. So 1590. So 1590. So is to the nearest 100. So the digit that is in the 100 is a 5. So the 5 is followed by a 90. So that means that I have to make this 5 a 6 and the other 2 digits become 0. So this is going to be 1600s. Okay, C. 1899. So 1899. The digit that is in the hundreds is the 8. So the 8 is followed by a 9. So this 8 becomes a 9 and everything else becomes a 0. Okay, so now let's look at the next part. It says round each decimal is the next part. To move this down. So round each decimal to the indicated place value. So part A here, it says round to each decimal to the nearest. This one will be 0.39 to the nearest tenth. So 0.39 is now here, 0.39. And to the nearest tenth is a 3. So the 3 is followed by the 9. So the 3 becomes a 4. So to the nearest tenth, that means that you would only have one decimal point. It will be just 0.4. You do not make that 9 a 0 and say 0.40. It will be just 0.4. You don't need that extra decimal. I mean that extra number 0. So the next one is you're asked to round 0.174 to the nearest hundredth. So 0.174. Okay, so to the nearest hundred, that will be the 7. The 7 is followed by a 4. So therefore the 7 stays 7. And this will be 0.17. You do not make that a 0. So when you have the roundings that are with the ones that ends in THS, you eliminate that value. In the other ones, they become zeros, but in this one, they're removed. So the 7 is followed by a 4, so the 7 stays 7. So the answer to this part B on example 3 is 0.17. Okay, so we do the next one to the nearest thousand, so 1.4782. Again, I'm erasing a lot because I'm using the same chart. So 1.4782. So, and it's to the nearest thousand, so it will be the 8 is followed by a 2, so the 8 stays the same and the 2 is removed. You don't make that 2 a 0. So for this one, it will be I'm so used to writing a 0 at the beginning, 1.478, that's it. Do not add another 0 at the end. The next one, negative 22.099. So the negative, it will not affect the rounding. It will continue to be a negative when you round it. So I'll bring the negative over. You don't have to worry about that. So 22.099. So again, I already put the negative in the answer so we don't forget. To the nearest hundred, the digit that is to the nearest hundred is this 9. This 9 is followed by another 9. So this 9 has to become a 10. So this will become negative 22.10. So that will be your final answer on those. So hopefully this will help you understand this review for rounding numbers better. So next page. Round to each monetary amount to the nearest cent or dollar. So just to clarify, when it says to the nearest cent, what that means is 2 decimals. You're going to have 2 decimals. When it says to the nearest dollar, that means no decimals. Okay, that's it. We're keeping it simple. So on this one, let me work on the focus of this. So here it says 0.058 to the nearest cent. So I only want 2 decimals. So I'm going to look at the number that is in the second decimal place. And it's followed by an 8. So that means that that 5 needs to go up. So this is equal to, again, the dollar sign, 0.06. That's it. So the next one, to the nearest cent. Again, notice that the answer only has 2 decimal places. Don't put the 0 at the end, just 2 decimal places. The next one, to the nearest cent. So this one is 0.45. The 5 is followed by an 8. So therefore it becomes a 6. So this is going to be 0.46. That's rounded to the nearest cent. The next 2 are asking you to round to the nearest dollar. So this is going to be, you have $17. So you look at this 7, that represents the dollars. So $17 is followed by a 0. You don't have to worry about the 8 making that 0 as 1. 7 is followed by 0. Therefore, this is approximately equal to $17. The next one, to the nearest dollar. So 125, this 5 is followed by an 8. So this one, the approximation will be $126. Again, when it says dollars, you do not include any decimals. And example 5, it says round each number to 3 decimal places. And that refers to the numbers, three numbers after the decimal point. So I identify that number, in this case is the 6. The 6 is followed by a 4. Therefore this, and I didn't do approximation on the other one, I could have. So the 6 is followed by 4, therefore the 6 stays the same. And the other numbers we say bye-bye. Make sure you write what you say, 0.026, that's it. The other numbers do not become zeros. So it's just they're removed. And the next one, it says 3 decimal places, 1, 2, 3. So I have a 9 here, followed by a 9. So this A9, this A becomes a 9. So this is going to be 2.08. So it's going to be 90. This one is going to be a 9 and a 0. Because they want 3 decimal places, that's why I put a 0 for that 9 in there. The next one, again, remember that the negative doesn't affect the rounding. I recommend you just bring it over and then focus on rounding. So 1, 2, 3, 3 decimal places. That 6 is followed by a 9. Therefore, this is going to become 1257. Okay, so that's it for this page. And now we go to the section that I said it usually might raise your blood pressure. Every time you see the word or hear the word fractions, it turns to give you the heebie-jeebies, okay? But do not worry about it, because why? We have Dora, we have Diego. So you are able to use a calculator. So as a matter of fact, let me use Diego here. So it can be a scientific or a graphing calculator will do. So let's give Dora a break. So I will be using the graphing calculator. So with this, with the scientific calculator, I wanted to have a good view. And again, I call this one Diego. So write each fraction as a decimal. So it's fairly simple when you're able to use a calculator. So 3 divided by 7. And it says, it doesn't tell you how many decimals I want, so I'm going to go ahead and write all the decimal points down. So this is 0.42857, okay? When you do the assignment, it will tell you how many decimal places you get. So I'm just going to write as many as I have this calculator program to give me. Okay, clear. Let's do the next one. 5 divided by 16. This one is 0.31250. The next one, 123 divided by 527, 0.2340. When you do the online homework, they don't even require you to write the 0 at the beginning, but I think it just makes a problem. I learned with writing the 0 in the front, so I do like to write it down. So the next one, write each decimal as a percent. So it's important to pay attention to the instructions. So to move from decimal to a percent, you're going to move the decimal point over to the right. So you go over to the right twice. That's it. Over to the right twice. So this is going to be 1, 2. So this is equal to 24.5. And make sure that you insert the percent sign. The next one, 1.02, move the decimal point over 2. This is going to be 102%. This one, 1, 2, this is going to be 3.5%. The next one, 1, 2, is 225%. So make sure you write the percent. Insert the percent sign because it's asking you to convert to a percent. So this one, move the decimal point over twice, 56.9%. And that's it, okay? It can even be, it feels, therapeutic. You feel so smart when you do those. I love those. Okay, so the next one is says write each percent as a decimal. So now we have to work backwards. So if from decimal to percent, you move over to the right twice, when it is from percent to a decimal, you will move left twice. So if you don't see a decimal point, like in the 100, the decimal point is implied to be at the end. So you have to move the decimal point over to the left. And when you go from percent to a decimal, you have to remove the percent sign. So this is going to become just 1. Okay. The next one, it has a decimal point, so 2.7. You drop the percent sign. You move the decimal point 2 units left, and this is going to be 0.027. Okay, I forgot to write the instructions in here. So from percent to a decimal, you're going to move left twice. Move the decimal point left twice, and you are to remove the percent sign. So this one, the decimal point is stated, so 39.2, remove the percent sign, go left twice. This is going to be 3.392. And again, you're also able to enter 0.392. They're both correct based on the programming that is in Pearson. Okay? So now we're going to work on write each decimal as a simplified fraction. So that no longer has to be, you don't need to be afraid. So we have Diego with us. So what you will do is, in this calculator, 0.125, and there is a key here. If you notice in here, if I move this up, there is a key that says, it's in green, fraction to decimal. Let me try to zoom to show you that. So it is this key right here. It's fraction to decimal. In this calculator, it will be second table because it is green. So once you press 0.125 in this calculator, you're going to press the second key and table, and it will turn that into a fraction. Okay, again, the key that I am referring to is the one that is fraction to decimal. In this calculator is in green, so I have to press the second key and then table to get access to that. And the calculator turns that 0.125 into the fraction of 1/8. So this is equal to 1/8. So I'll demonstrate it 2 more times with the other 2 exercises here. So 1.2, so 1.2, 1.2. So we do again in this calculator, we're going to press the second key and table to access the fraction to decimal and press enter, and the calculator tells me 6/5. Okay, the next one, 0.368. So 0.368. Second, we press the second key, fraction to decimal, enter, and this is 46 over 125. 46 over 125. So you do not have to worry about fractions anymore. Okay, so that's it for this section. Next, we're going to cover section 8.1. So I hope to see you in the next section.